This video is in a new format in the form of questions and answer sessions. I want to grow small koi into big koi, so how do I grow big koi like you do? I've seen some amazing results in the superb growth in 7 months, part 1. Hi, I'm Richard. Well, today is your lucky day. I'm introducing a new 300-gallon koi growth mini-series. If you want your koi to grow, to improve, you have to make better choices in selecting and raising your koi. But here's the thing, I'm not going to give you a list of individual body traits or a list of things to do. What you need to understand is why a requirement is essential to good koi growth. Brilliant! I have it all worked out. I've got my own 300-gallon tank with my own ideas on how to grow koi on. I have based this koi growth mini-series on my successful 300-gallon grow-on tank in the garage, which anyone can replicate. It's not the only way to grow koi, but you can see from the results it works in practice. It's not just a theory. I've broken the series into various parts to make it more manageable to video and watch. Please ask any questions in the comments below and I will try and answer all questions and comments. I've seen loads of videos on YouTube where the Japanese breeders get fabulous results from their unfiltered mud ponds, so I'm going to do the same thing. What do you think? I think you need a large filter for 300 gallons. The reason why unfiltered mud ponds work is because the stocking rate is tiny. For every koi there are thousands, if not tens of thousands of gallons of water per koi. But you're putting several koi in 300 gallons, so a filter is essential. There are a number of essential requirements for good growth. These are listed in order of importance: a mechanical filter, a life support system for your koi or large, mature pond filter, warm water, oxygen, fresh water, food, an auto feeder, and the koi. I will start with the most important first. The koi's life support system or pond filter. On my setup, it's a 600mm shower with 3 tiers with a pile of ceramic and plastic media. Please note I've rounded off the corners on the splash returns so that the koi cannot injure themselves if they jump. If your filter is not big enough, you will never grow koi well, as you will always be limited by the size of your filter and your poor water parameters. This, in my humble opinion, is the #1 requirement in growing big koi. The Japanese breeders don't heat their mud ponds, so why should I? The summers are a lot hotter in Japan for a lot longer than in the UK. You don't have to heat, but you do if you want a long growing season. The trouble is the water temperature in the UK is not high enough for long enough. So you need to heat up the water to 24°C for good growth and for a long period. Warm water is the second most important thing, as the water temperature governs the koi's metabolic rate, and this governs the koi feeding. There is also a 300-watt titanium heater currently set at 18°C. Subscribe so that you don't miss any video with more valuable information in it. Thank you. In December. In the summer this goes up to 24°C and the koi are going for bore, and so is your filter. But it needs to be a stable temperature, not 24°C during the day and 15°C at night, which can often happen in the spring and in the autumn. If the temperature is up and down, It stresses the koi, and our aim is to have a stress-free pond. A stable pond is the key for good growth. So a heater is essential to iron out those highs and lows. The rule of thumb is 1 kilowatt per 1,000 gallons of water. What size koi are you going to grow on? I'm going to grow on 5 tosi really big. Personally, I think 3 tosi would get you better results if you grow them to a maximum of 40C. They would need to eat 3% body weight if you use the guide in the description. You would see the weight as about 1 kilo. So they would need to eat 300 grams a day. So that's 900 grams a day. 25 litres of Helix 13 will treat 170 grams of food a day. So you need at least 150 grams of media to treat 900 grams of food a day. Now if you had 5 tosi, you would need at least 250 litres to treat 1,700 grams of food a day, or for the extra 2 tosi, another 100 litres of media in your filter. My tank is a fibreglass 300 gallon or 1,400 litres, which is twice as long as it is wide, and it's the ideal shape rather than square, insulated with 25mm Kingspan. If you intend to heat the water, why waste your money? The pump is 1,000 litre per hour variable speed and is currently running at 60%. So it's turning over the pond approximately 4 times an hour. The variable speed is ideal on a grow-on tank, as you can turn it up when you need it and you can turn it down when you don't. With a shower, if you have a spike with ammonia or nitrite, you can turn up the pump so that the bacteria has a second chance to convert the ammonia and nitrite. What are you going to do when you get an ammonia or nitrite spike? Oh, that's easy. I've got it all worked out. I will stop feeding until the readings are 0. You need to watch. You will regret not following these 5 koi care tips. You need to control the spike and carry on feeding at the same rate. Otherwise, your filter will go from feast to famine, slowing the maturing of the filter down. I really need your support. Hit the like button to drive the video to more koi keepers. Thank you. You can increase the turnover rate on the shower so the bacteria gets a second bite of the cherry. A warning, do not increase a turnover on a moving bed filter, as the moving bed needs time to digest, for want of a better word, the ammonia and nitrite. I'm going to feed sake hikari. I will throw in a cupful 3 times a day, one before I go to work, the second one at lunchtime, and the third one when I'm home from work. I'm glad to see that you're feeding the best koi food, but it's not the most efficient use of an expensive food to throw in 3 large mugfuls of food a day. You're creating a huge spike of ammonia and nitrite, and the koi will be full after the first 10 minutes of feeding. So most of the expensive food will end up in the filter as waste. I've seen a video on YouTube, and that's how the Japanese breeders do it. The Japanese koi breeders do throw in small amounts of food to check the condition of their koi. If you look at the mud ponds carefully, you will see that they all have auto feeders. Koi are like sheep. They're constantly grazing for food as they have no stomach. So a little and often will fit in with their natural digestive system. An auto feeder is an essential bit of kit to enable you to feed a little and often. It also needs to be regular as clockwork, and it also is essential to increase the amount of feeding slowly and consistently. Which auto feeder do you use, And how much do you feed? I use a Fishmate P7000. It is a fish auto feeder. I set it on a frequent feed setting to deliver 10 feeds between 7 AM and 8 PM and 2 feeds each. So approximately 20 grams per feed. So 200 grams a day, 1400 grams a week. You are what you eat, which is also true of koi. The best food, sake hikari balance, is my go-to food for growth. If you can't afford sake, go for Cuttlebrook Premium Growth, which I call a poor man's sake, which is an excellent food. A little and often is the key to success, and slowly increasing the feeding so your filter can catch up. Pellet size is essential, that it's the correct size pellet for the correct size koi, so often overlooked. We will cover this in a later video. You need to subscribe to the channel to be kept up to date. The Japanese breeders don't change their water in their mud ponds, so why should I? Stagnant water kills koi. The extremely low stocking rate works in favour of the Japanese breeders, but you want to keep several koi in only 300 gallons, you need a jumbo filter for a jumbo koi. A trickle in of fresh water through a 3-pod water purifier on a trickle in feed and an overflow to waste is far better than doing huge water changes, which can affect the water temperature and the water parameters, which in turn stresses the koi. Stressed koi do not grow well. My trickle in is 1 litre per 10 minutes, 6 litres an hour, or 1,000 litres per week. The solution to pollution is dilution. A life support system or pond filter uses the hardness of the water in conversion of ammonia to nitrite to nitrate, so the water is slowly becoming more and more acidic. If left unchecked, it will cause a pH crash and all your koi will die, as they will be swimming in acidic water. It is essential to replace some of the hardness by water changes. As we are dealing with a small body of water with a large koi loading, it's even more essential, as slight water problems one day can turn into a major disaster the next day. So what you're saying is a fast dripping tap is ideal for water changes, as it's very slow but constant and the amount of water builds up over time. Brilliant. Please support me by liking the video. This makes a huge difference to the YouTube ratings and who they push it out to. Okay, I see those paddle machines in the Japanese mud ponds. What are they for? Adding air in an extremely hot weather, the warmer the water, the less oxygen it holds. On my grow-on, there are 2 air bars, one inside the tank and one in the inlet to the Ultra Sieve. Ultra Sieve 3. This acts as an airlift to the sieve, and it's powered by a 70-litre air pump. Oxygen. The bacteria uses up 5 atoms of oxygen, converting ammonia to nitrite to nitrate. So it is also essential to add extra air to the pond. This can be done by air stones, a venturi, splash returns, etc. Koi need oxygen to process the food, and the warmer the water, the less oxygen it holds. Thank you for explaining why I need to do all these things. I will now have to change my koi grow-on plans drastically. The best tip I can give you is to think of it like building a house. All the bricks need to be in place before the building. The same is true if you want excellent growth. You need all the elements working together before the koi can grow. Next in the series, we will talk about how to select the best koi for growth. Stop growth and start size.